Hi, and thank you for joining me for day 5 for 30 Days of Sketches with Christie's Beautiful Life. This is series 13, and today's sketch is by the lovely Christine Steele Harden. Christine's got a channel, a YouTube channel, so I shall link that below. She's such fun to watch. You must go and watch her if you don't already. So you can see from the sketch there's a couple of torn strips of paper at the top, and then there are 4 photos. So I've tried to stick fairly closely to this. I'm using my Shimelle main character energy, and I'm pulling out the blues and greens predominantly, and I'm documenting a 17th birthday party that my two hosted for one of their friends, which was so sweet. They had a sleepover in our garden room and they had great fun. So Lewis, who's the birthday boy, is a little bit dramatic, so one of the titles on the foam stickers was absolutely perfect for this, and that's what sort of led me to this collection to document these photos. So you can see I've clustered 3 of the photos up in the top left hand corner per the sketch. Christine's a straighter, but I like to have them on an angle, so that's what I've done there. And then I've just chosen these 2 papers to go at the top, the lovely green one with all the leaves on, which sort of emulates the fact that they were in the garden, and then the midnight blue because it was the evening. So being very themed today. So just curling up those edges ever so slightly, and you can see I went for my tape runner there to stick the second piece down, and then decided to use my PVA glue. The reason being is that it's much easier to slip the paper behind and get it in the right position if you're using PVA glue. If you're using a tape runner, then as soon as it makes contact, it tries to stick. So that was the reason for the change in adhesive there. So I'm going to stick, these have all been matted onto white scrap cardstock just to get that border, and then I'm going to mat them onto, pop them onto 25mm 6-2 foam pads just to raise them up above that torn edge and also to give them a little bit of prominence on the layout. The bottom right hand photo is the one of Lewis, and I've backed that on that beautiful purple paper that you get in the paper pad. It's got gold foiled stars, and I thought that would work really nicely for him. I mean, even that photo shows that he can be a little bit dramatic. So I've chosen this card that was from one of the cut apart papers, and it says, "You are the star of the story," and I thought that would work really nicely with Lewis. And then that strip of torn gold foil paper is actually the border strip, the branding strip that holds the paper to the paper pad, and I think it was from the butterfly paper. I fussy cut a few of the butterflies to use on this layout, and when I was tearing it out I noticed this and I thought it worked really nicely at the bottom. I did tear it when I was pulling it out of the pad. I was a little bit careless and trying in a rush, but that torn edge looks really good there at the bottom, and it just draws the eye across the page. It's going to be a very busy page, and my journaling is going to go below those top 3 photos, so that orange strip works really nicely there. Now I found this star and it says all about me, and of course it was all about Lewis being his birthday, so I've layered that on top of the photo, and again just used a couple of foam pads to raise that above to the same height as the photo. And then I'm bringing in one of our little padded stars from Hey Little Magpie, and I thought I was going to use this canvas Flair badge with the butterfly on it, but I do switch that out in the end. And that little camera down there is from the pattern paper. I fussy cut it. Another one of our padded stars there at the bottom. And here's the title, that one that says a little bit dramatic. Now I've left this part in to show you what the problems that I had with these stickers. They're gorgeous stickers and it was easily solved, but I just wanted to chat about how I do it differently next time. Because it's a piece of foam and it's got a piece of card stuck on top of it, as soon as I started to manoeuvre that to get it off the backing sheet, the card popped off the foam. You can see there it's separated, so I had to glue it back down afterwards. You can see how much it's pulled apart there. Next time I would definitely bend the backing sheet rather than the foam piece. Now the problem you've got with that is that there are other pieces on that backing sheet, so I think the other titles that I'm going to use from that foam thicker sheet, I'm actually going to cut them out with the backing sheet and then gently pull the backing sheet off the foam without bending the foam, so that these 2 parts stay together. Like I say, it was easily solved. I just used a bit of my PVA glue and stuck the gold card back onto the foam, but I think that could have been avoided had I cut it off the backing sheet first. So just a little tip for you. And also, because they were separated, I had to be very careful not to stretch the foam so that the gold card would sit properly on the foam, because obviously the gold card doesn't move, but the foam can easily be stretched. So it was a little bit of a faff, but like I say, I got there in the end, and you'll see in the final close-ups it's a gorgeous layout. There's no problems at all with that, but I just wanted to give a warning: if you've got these thickers in your collection, just be very careful, because they do separate like that. So I'll carry on with the rest of the title. I won't bore you by making you watch all of that. But I go backwards. So I start with dramatic first of all, and then I put on bit, and then I'll add little. And you can see there that the L on the little word is already separating because I'm bending that backing sheet. So yeah, definitely I'll cut them off next time. So there's the title, a little bit dramatic. And then I'm just going to go around and glue everything down that I've got laid out in place so far. So you can see I switched out that fabric heart flare badge with the butterfly one that I had there previously. This is just a standard 1-inch flare, and I felt it just sat nicer there. So now I'm coming in with the journaling, and the journaling just reads: when you asked if you could host a birthday sleepover for Lewis in the garden room for his 17th, of course we said yes. Lewis has been with you since reception, aged 4. Tom, Elena, Roisin, Grace, Abby, Ella all joined you, and you had the most wonderful time. So adding a pile of tangled thread behind that flare badge. This is just black to bring in some of the black that I've got in those photos in the top left hand corner, and sticking that down with my Nouveau Deluxe adhesive. And then these are some of the butterflies that I fussy cut. Now this one has to go against an edge because the wing's missing. It was from the edge of the paper. So I decided to tuck it under that photo there. And then I've got another little one that's going up at the top there as if it's flying off the page. And then this lovely blue moth, and that ends up just tucked between the photos there. And that's really filling out the page now. It's quite a busy one, but I like it. I love this sketch, Christine. Thank you so much. So this lovely circle piece is from our printables from Hey Little Magpie that have been designed to coordinate with Shimelle's collection, as is that round label piece. So I'm just layering those up together, and then this round piece is another one from those printables, and I'm just adding an epoxy button to make that into an epoxy flare badge. So because I've got that black tangled thread underneath the pink fabric flare, I wanted to add it underneath that yellow one as well. Just mirroring what I've done there. And you can see I chose a couple of those butterflies from the foam thickers to add to the layout as well. So now just coming in with some enamel hearts from my stash. I've got a gold one in that lovely little cluster there, and then a black one at the bottom. And then these are some white glitter, what are they called, enamel dots. I'm just dotting around the page, and they just bring a nice little bit of sparkle in, because Lewis is our sparkly boy. So now covering up those photos with some scraps, just so that I can add some gold flecks. I use my paintbrush for this. And that's it. Thank you so much for joining me. Please check the description box down below to see everybody else who's joining in on this hop. Thank you so much, Christine, for a wonderful sketch. I've thoroughly enjoyed it and can't wait to see what everybody else does with it. Other than that, I shall see you again tomorrow for day 6. Thanks again. Bye.